My beloved child, pause in this very moment and listen, for if you let it slip by, your whole life may drift away from the path I have set before you. This is an awakening, a solemn call sounded from the sacred realm, a place your earthly eyes cannot behold, yet your soul perceives with piercing clarity. You may still think today is just another day filled with routine tasks and ordinary concerns, but you do not realize that this very moment carries within it a turning point capable of shaping the entire course of your remaining life. What I wish to declare to you is not a vague suggestion, not a distant whisper, but an urgent command. A call you must answer now, for the consequences of delay will be too great for you to bear. My child, understand this. There are moments in life when hesitation does not merely cost you opportunities, but shuts doors forever. This is such a moment. You are standing at a threshold where I, the creator of heaven and earth, and of your very soul, am waiting to lead you into a new journey. Yet to enter, you must be decisive, awake, and courageous enough to forsake the things that still bind you. I know that hesitation can feel comforting, offering you an illusion of safety, but that very hesitation is the greatest snare the enemy has set. It whispers to you, leave it for tomorrow, rest today, nothing is urgent. But I say to you, tomorrow does not belong to you, this moment is your true opportunity. Have you not felt deep within that something is stirring in your soul? At times when the night falls and the noise of the world subsides, your heart resounds with questions you cannot silence. Why was I born? Why does everything feel so empty? Even when I possess what others long for, that is my voice. I have knocked at the door of your heart through moments of stillness, through disappointments you have endured, and even through successes that ultimately failed to fill the void inside. Yet again and again you allowed the surrounding noise to drown out that call. Now I must raise my voice louder, clearer, stronger, for I do not want you to lose your way in this most critical season of your life. Understand this, my child, there are forces moving behind the veil that your natural eyes cannot see. Fierce battles rage in the spiritual realm, and their outcomes bear direct consequences on your life. Every small decision you make in the present does not only shape tomorrow, but also opens the way for either light or darkness to enter. The enemy of your soul never sleeps. It knows you were destined for a greater purpose, and precisely because of that, it strives with all its strength to divert you, to plant doubt, to wear you down until you let go. It does not need you to openly turn against me if it can simply delay you, distract you with vanity, and pull your heart into trivial pursuits. Then it has already succeeded. But I have come to declare to you today, do not be deceived. Do not allow yourself to be caught in a whirlwind of meaningless busyness that blinds you to what truly matters. Do not let worry, fear, or shallow desires rob you of this moment, for this is the time when your soul touches the great design I prepared long before you were born. As it is written in the scriptures, before I formed you in the womb I knew you. Before you came forth I set you apart, Jeremiah 1:5. You are not an accident. You do not exist as the product of random chance. You have a place, a purpose, and a path, and now you stand at its very threshold. My beloved, keep your heart awake. This is not a threat, but a truth. I am not the one who sows fear. I am the God of love. And because of deep, unshakable love, I cannot stay silent when I see you slipping from the way of life. True love does not always whisper gently. Sometimes it must cry out, it must shake you with urgency to keep the one it loves from falling into the abyss. That is why today I speak to you with clarity, with earnestness, and with urgency. Rise up, fix your eyes on me, cast off hesitation, and walk forward in faith. Do not think that you are incapable. Do not assume that you are too weak, too unworthy, or that it is too late. All those limits are nothing but illusions. What I require is not your perfection, but your willingness. I ask for a heart that is open, a soul that is ready to surrender. The rest I myself will do. I will grant you the strength to overcome every obstacle. I will bring light into the darkness surrounding you, and I will carve a path where there seems to be no way. Yet it all begins with your choice today to trust or to hesitate, to step forward, or to turn back, to listen or to ignore. My child, remember that every moment is precious and not every moment will return. Some doors open only once, and when they close, they never open again. Right now, I am opening such a door for you. If you step through, you will see your life transformed, rescued, and led into blessing. But if you turn away, you will miss the very opportunity heaven has prepared for you. I do not say this to frighten you, but so you may see clearly the reality that time is urgent and your soul stands at a critical crossroads. Beloved one, perhaps you are asking why I emphasize this urgency so strongly. You may wonder, have I not heard this before? Have I not been warned throughout the years? Yes, you have heard, you have read, you have felt the stirring within. But the truth is, your heart has been distracted too many times. You have allowed the clamor of the world to drown out my whisper. Again and again you have given weight to what is fleeting while dismissing what holds eternal worth. That is why I must speak once more this time, not with a whisper, but with a call that is loud, clear, and resolute. You don't realize it, but every step you take, every choice you make is placing you right in the midst of a battle that no flesh and blood can see. The prolonged worries over money, work, relationships, status, these things aren't just the burdens of life. They are tools used to weigh your heart down, to exhaust you, so that you no longer have the strength to return to me. The enemy doesn't need to do anything dramatic. It only needs to keep your mind filled with fear, anxiety, and pressure. That alone is enough to scatter your soul until you can no longer hear my call. But my child, I have never stopped trying to break through that wall. I have sent you gentle signs, a word of encouragement from a stranger, a door that opens just when you thought all had been shut, or a strange comfort that fills your soul when you cry out in desperation. None of these are coincidences. They are signs to help you recognize that I am still present, still calling you to come back. And yet, time after time, you dismiss them as mere coincidence and keep walking your own path. My dear one, the danger is not in making mistakes, but in treating the warnings lightly. The enemy wants you to believe that you can manage on your own, that you don't need to pay attention to divine nudges. But the truth is, if you keep ignoring them, your heart will gradually grow numb, and there will come a moment when even if I call out loudly, you will no longer be able to hear me. I do not want that for you. I want your heart to remain soft, ready to respond, because only in that response will you find your true path. Remember this, my child, life is not measured only by the number of years you live on this earth, but by the spiritual impact you leave behind. The choices you make today do not merely shape your present comfort, they open doors to consequences far beyond your sight. There are decisions that may seem small yet carry eternal weight. There are moments which, if you let slip away, may cost you the chance to step into the calling I have prepared uniquely for you. And now this very moment is one of those moments. I know your heart may be heavy right now, feeling too weak to do anything at all. You think to yourself, I've failed too many times, I've missed too many chances, I'm no longer worthy. But my child, that is the voice of deception. It is precisely in your weakness that my strength is made known. It is in your brokenness that my love can restore. I do not seek perfection in you, I seek honesty. A sincere heart open to me is more precious than all the success you could ever build on your own. Don't believe that I've become distant, because the truth is, I have never left your side. I am there right in the darkest nights, within the tears you try to hide, even when you believe you're utterly alone. I have witnessed every failure, every fall, and I have not turned my back on you. On the contrary, I use those very things to draw you closer to me, to help you see that apart from me there is no true refuge. Perhaps you've grown used to seeking affirmation from the world, longing to be praised, to be recognized. But I tell you this, those words of praise are like passing winds. They may lift you for a moment, but leave you empty the next. As for me, I give you a declaration that never changes: you are my beloved. That love does not waver with your actions. It is who I am. It is a foundation that can never be broken. Here is what you must understand clearly. I have not called you merely to escape danger, but to step into a life of fullness. Many go through life without ever truly living, endlessly chasing after illusions while ignoring the only source that can satisfy their souls. I don't want that for you. I want you to know true peace, joy that rises above circumstances, and freedom no chain can bind. Scripture once said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 1:1-8. That promise still holds true for you today. You don't have to carry everything on your own. All you need to do is come lay every burden down and allow me to carry them for you. My child, I am calling you to open your heart right now. Do not let hesitation steal this vital moment from you. Let me in. Let me lead. Let me renew. If you say yes, you will witness a miracle, not only in your external circumstances, but in the very depths of your soul. The darkness will flee, the light will shine, and the path you've long searched for in confusion will begin to unfold clearly before your eyes. My beloved, I want you to set aside the worries that are overwhelming your mind and look directly at this truth. You cannot walk two roads at once. The time has come for you to choose either to follow my sacred calling or to let yourself be swept away by the meaningless current of the world. There is no room for indecision, for hesitation itself is the doorway through which darkness enters. I do not say this to frighten you, but so you may recognize that not choosing is in itself a choice. If you do not actively take my hand, you are by default allowing other forces to lead you. Know this, my child. The decision you make today will not only shape the days ahead of you, but will also determine the destiny of your eternal soul. You may think these are heavy words, but they are true. Every step you take in the light brings you deeper into freedom, and every time you ignore the call, you allow yourself to be bound again. There are chains you cannot see, chains forged by fear, by unresolved mistakes, by the haunting weight of your past. If you do not decide today, those chains will tighten, and one day you may no longer have the strength to break free. That is why I am calling you now, not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, but now. My dear one, do not think that I am trying to corner you. I come to rescue you, to lift you up, to make a way for you. My love never changes, and it is that very love that urges me to warn you. Like a father who sees his child about to fall off a cliff, he cannot stand by in silence. He must shout, he must run, he must reach. That is the love I have for you, a love that never gives up, never stands idle. If I were silent, that would be the sign of abandonment, but I never abandon. Even when you drift far, even when your heart is hard, I remain patient. I keep calling you home. Look back at your journey. How many times have you sought happiness in fleeting things only to be left with emptiness? How many times have you believed that if you could just attain this one thing or reach that goal, you would finally be satisfied only to see it vanish like mist? My child, it is because you have not yet stepped into the only true source of life that can fulfill your soul, and that source is me. Everything else is an illusion, but I am the truth. Everything else is temporary, but I am eternal. If you choose to walk with me, you will experience a life that no one can take away from you. Not a life without challenges, but a life with the strength to overcome every challenge. Not a path free of storms, but a path where I walk beside you, holding your hand tightly through every tempest. I do not promise to remove all hardships, but I promise to give you a peace that no circumstance can shake. I do not promise to eliminate all pain, but I promise to turn sorrow into something good, to turn every tear into a seed for tomorrow's joy. Do you know what power is released when you choose to respond to my invitation? You will witness invisible chains shatter. You will feel burdens that have weighed on your shoulders for years being lifted. You will see fear replaced by faith, despair transformed into hope. You will no longer walk in defeat, but with your head held high, knowing you have been redeemed, loved, and chosen. And from that place you will begin to shine, not by your own striving, but by my presence flowing through you. Imagine a life where you no longer have to pretend to be strong because you truly have strength from within. A life where you no longer need to hide your pain, but can face it and be healed. A life where you no longer wander searching for purpose because you have stepped right into the plan crafted just for you before the foundation of the world. That vision is not distant. It begins the moment you choose to surrender today. My beloved, do not let doubt hold you back. Do not let the voices of the past whisper that you are unworthy. Do not let fear of the future paralyze you. I say to you, every sin has been washed clean, every wound can be healed, every burden can be lifted. Just reach out your hand, I'll take it, and I will never let go. Walk forward, my child. Step into the light. Step out of the haze of empty days and into a new journey where you are led, protected, and rescued. I am opening a new season, and you are the one I've called to step into it. If you respond, not only will your life be changed, but those around you will be touched by the light you carry. You will become a living testimony that I am faithful, that I turn the impossible into possible, that I am the giver of abundant life. My beloved child, have you ever wondered why life sometimes feels like an unending series of battles? There are days you wake up feeling as though you've just fought a great war, even though no one can see any wounds on your body. There are nights you lie awake, your mind spinning in anxiety, and your soul weighed down as if crushed by some invisible force. This is not your imagination, my child. It is the reality of a battle that your physical eyes cannot see, yet every human on earth is engaged in it, whether they realize it or not. In the unseen realm, a conflict rages day and night. Light and darkness are in constant opposition, and the battlefield is the human heart. Your soul is the prize both sides seek to claim. I, your Creator, long to lead you into a life of abundance and peace. But the enemy is relentless in trying to destroy, steal, and kill the hope within you. This battle is not marked by the clash of swords or the noise of war, but its consequences are evident in every decision you make, every emotion you feel, and every step you take each day. Look closely at your life. There are moments when you're filled with energy and ready to move forward, only to be crushed suddenly by an inexplicable heaviness. There are days you resolve to live fully, but a single negative word or an unexpected event is enough to shake your faith. These are signs that the battle isn't just external or circumstantial. It is taking place in the invisible space surrounding your soul. The enemy knows your weaknesses well. It knows how to plant seemingly harmless thoughts in your mind that slowly erode your confidence and faith. It whispers that you're not good enough, that your past is too heavy to overcome, that no one truly cares about you. And if you allow those words to take root, they will bind you with fear, shame, and doubt. Once bound, you'll lose the courage to step into the divine plan I've prepared for you. This is its strategy, not to destroy you in an instant, but to make you hesitate, to sow confusion, to cause you to waver. And if that happens, it considers itself victorious. But I have not left you to fight alone. I want you to know that I have already given you spiritual weapons to stand firm against every attack. When you invite me in, I clothe you with the armor of righteousness, I place the sword of truth in your hand, and I shield you with the covering of faith. No arrow from the darkness can harm you while you stand under that protection. But my child, to take up this armor, you must stay awake. You must recognize that the battle is real and that you are called to enter it with faith, not to drift passively through life. Do you remember those moments when you felt lost in a whirlwind of anxiety, so much so that you could no longer find the strength to pray? There were times you wanted to give up, to let everything go. But then an extraordinary strength lifted you up again, giving you one more day to keep going. That strength was proof that I have been fighting on your behalf. I have stood ahead of you, pushing back forces you cannot see, so you would have the chance to rise once more. If I hadn't held you up, you would have fallen long ago. I want you to understand this. The enemy does not care about what you possess in the physical world. It is not after your reputation or your wealth. What it truly seeks is to steal your faith, because when faith is taken, your soul becomes empty and easy to manipulate. Faith is the lamp that keeps you from losing your way in the dark. If that lamp goes out, you'll no longer be able to tell the path from the pit. That is why I never stop urging you to hold on tightly to your faith. For it is not just the key to open the door of life. It is also the shield that protects your soul amidst relentless attacks. You might think you are too small for a battle this great. You ask yourself, what could I possibly have that the enemy would target me? But my dear, it is precisely because I chose you, because I placed a unique purpose within you, that you became a target. Darkness does not waste its strength on what is worthless. It only strives to hinder those who carry the potential to bring change, to shine light into places of despair. and you, my beloved child, are one of those people. Do not believe that this battle is beyond your ability. I have gone before you and have already won from the beginning. That victory belongs to you. All you need to do is stand firm in the truth and refuse to be deceived. When you cling to my words, every scheme of the enemy will be exposed. When you let my light shine through you, darkness will have no place to hide. Remember this, my precious one. You are not a victim in this battle. You are a warrior fully equipped. You do not fight with your own strength, but with the power that comes from me. And that power never runs out. I am with you, I stand beside you, and I protect you with an unshakable love. The battle may be fierce, but the outcome has already been decided. Light will overcome darkness. And if you remain in the light, you will never be defeated. My beloved child, I want you to know that the enemy comes in subtle ways. It creeps quietly into the seemingly insignificant details of your daily life. It plants small seeds barely noticeable at first, but if you don't pay attention, they will grow into invisible chains that bind your soul. The enemy doesn't need to strike you down all at once. It just needs to wear you out little by little, confusing you, exhausting you until you gradually drift off course. That is its strategy, not swift destruction, but slow erosion. It seeks to weaken your faith bit by bit until you come to believe you no longer have the strength to carry on. Notice this. How many times have you begun a new day with strong resolve only to feel your spirit sink from a single unkind word? How many times have you felt joy over something small only to have a painful memory return and drain you of all motivation? The enemy knows exactly where your heart is most vulnerable. It strikes at those places. It presses into old wounds. It resurrects memories you wish to forget, just to make you believe that you can never escape your past. But I say to you now, that is a lie. The past has no power to define you. Only I, the one who created you and loves you, have that right. And I call you beloved. I call you chosen. When you allow those lies to take root in your mind, you begin to lose your peace. You start to believe that you are small, that you are worthless, that your dream of a fulfilled life is nothing but an illusion. And once you believe that, the enemy has already won half the battle. But I want you to rise up and face the truth. You are of great worth in my eyes. I paid the price for you with my very life. If you were worthless, I would not have done that. So do not let those lies take hold. Let my words be the only foundation you cling to. You also need to understand that not all exhaustion comes from the body. Some weariness is spiritual. It is a sign of an invisible battle. When you feel drained, even though you've done nothing heavy, when your heart feels empty despite a life that lacks nothing, that is the signal that you are caught in a spiritual war. The enemy wants you to think that nothing is happening, that it's all just your mood. But in truth, it is waging war against your soul to break your spirit, to make you let go of your faith, to get you to settle for a life of mediocrity instead of stepping into your divine purpose. My child, I do not promise that this battle will be easy, but I do promise you will never be alone. I have equipped you with the strength to stand firm, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. That strength does not come from your own will. It comes from my very presence within you. When you are weak, I become your strength. When you are in despair, I become your hope. When you are lost and confused, I become the light that guides your way. I am your shield, and no scheme of darkness can pierce through my protection. You may recall moments when you thought you could no longer go on, but then something happened. A peace beyond understanding, a timely word of encouragement, or an unexpected but deeply meaningful event reached you and held you up. That was no coincidence. That was me fighting on your behalf. I was pushing back unseen forces. I was intercepting the poisoned arrows aimed at your soul so that you could keep moving forward. Every day you rise, breathe, and dare to hope, it is undeniable proof that I still hold you in my hands. But my child, I don't want you to live only in defense. I want you to become one who strikes back. You are not merely able to endure, you are able to overcome. How? By holding my word deep in your heart so that every thought, every word, and every action becomes anchored in truth. When you declare my word with your lips, darkness must retreat. When you pray in faith, all of heaven moves on your behalf. When you reject the lies and cling tightly to my promises, you put the enemy in a place of certain defeat. You must remember the battle does not last forever. Darkness may shake you for a moment, but light will always prevail. Every step you take in faith, no matter how small, is a strike against its schemes. Every time you refuse despair and choose hope, you are gaining victory. Every moment you choose to trust me instead of giving in to fear, you are declaring that darkness has no authority over your life. My child, believe that I have given you everything you need to stand firm. No circumstance can overthrow you when you place yourself in my hands. No scheme is powerful enough to destroy you, for you are protected by everlasting love, and that love never fails. So do not bow your head in fear, lift it high in faith. Remember, you are not merely fighting to survive, you are pressing forward into the fullness of freedom. My beloved child, I now want to open your eyes to see a different perspective. This battle, no matter how fierce, was never meant to defeat you. It exists to reveal my strength in your life, and to lead you into the truth you are not merely a survivor, you are a conqueror. Darkness may roar, but it cannot steal what I have given you unless you hand it over through doubt and surrender. If you choose to stand firm in faith, you will see every one of its plans rendered powerless. Look at the lives of those who turned away from the light. They began with small compromises, thinking they were harmless. Step by step, they allowed darkness to take hold in their hearts. Bitterness grew pride, took root, and over time they could no longer tell what was true from what was false. In the end, they walked like shadows, always seeking satisfaction, but never finding fulfillment. That is the fate of those who ignore the warning voice and take lightly the battle that is raging. I do not want that for you, my child. I am calling you out of that darkness, so you may live as one who carries the light not only for yourself, but for those who are lost. Remember, even a small candle is enough to dispel the darkness in a corner. Likewise, your life, when illuminated by truth, will carry an impact far greater than you imagine. When you choose to trust me, the peace that flows from you will astonish those around you. When you stand firm in the storm, others will witness the strength that comes from me. When you forgive instead of clinging to bitterness, they will see my love reflected through you. That is how the light spreads, not through grand gestures all at once, but through every small choice made each day, the choice to stand in the light rather than the dark. My child, do not think that this light is reserved for only a few. My child, do not think that the light is reserved only for a select few. I have placed within every human soul the capacity to carry light, but only those willing to respond will shine. I did not call you to live a faint and shadowed life, but to become a living testimony of my power. You were not made to blend into the crowd, but to be a beacon amidst the night sea. This does not mean you will avoid trials. On the contrary, because you bear light, the darkness will strike harder. But the more you are tested, the brighter your light will shine. Remember the times you thought you were about to fall, yet somehow you stood again. That was not your strength, it was because I was there. I lifted you up, sheltered you, strengthened you, and I will continue to do so until you complete your journey. What I seek from you is not perfection, but faithfulness. I do not ask you to win by your own might, only that you do not give up, do not walk away from the light. When you persevere, you will see me act, and every scheme of darkness will be rendered meaningless. My beloved child, I declare to you, an unshakable truth: light will always overcome darkness. No matter how thick the darkness, the moment a single spark appears, it is already pushed back. And you, my child, are the one who carries that spark, not because of achievements or personal abilities, but because I chose you and placed the flame within your heart. Your responsibility is to keep that flame burning, to fuel it with faith and obedience. Imagine this: if today you choose to walk in the light, your entire future will be shaped in a different direction. Peace will replace anxiety, joy will take the place of sorrow, hope will rise where there was once despair. And not only will you be transformed, but your family, your friends, even strangers passing briefly through your life will be touched by that light. But if you turn away, you will miss not only the blessings meant for you, but also the souls I called you to impact. This is a battle not just for one life, but for many. My child, I urge you with all my heart, do not live passively any longer. Do not let your life drift in unconsciousness, allowing the darkness to chart your course. Rise up. Be aware that you are called to fight, to carry the light, to live a life that matters. Do not fear, for I have gone before you. I have already won the victory. It is yours. You need only step into it and claim it by faith. When you feel weak, remember, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel unworthy, remember, it is I who make you worthy. When you fear the future, know that I am already there before you arrive. And when you fall, do not remain in your fall. Rise again, for my hand is always reaching out to lift you up. My beloved child, I want you to know that the call from the divine does not always arrive with thunderous storms or dramatic upheavals. Often I come to you in gentle whispers, in subtle signs, in coincidences that others might dismiss as chance, but in truth have been divinely orchestrated. I do not always appear in blinding light to command your attention. Sometimes I simply leave a quiet sign, giving you the opportunity to reveal your heart, whether you are truly seeking me, yearning to hear my voice, or merely swept away by the noise of the world. Think back, how many times in moments of stillness have you felt a soft stirring in your heart, a gentle voice saying, "Pause, turn back, take a different path." No one else heard it, but you felt it clearly. That was me speaking to you. I chose to whisper rather than shout because I long to see whether you are willing to listen amidst the clamor. If you do not train your soul to hear me in the silence, how will you recognize my voice among the chaos? Do you remember when you were weary and suddenly a friend called with just the right words to lift your spirit? Or when you stumbled upon a phrase in a book, heard a song lyric, and it felt as though it was written precisely for your situation? That was not coincidence, my child. That was me reaching for your heart in every way I can. But too often you chalk it up to luck and move on. And just like that, my whisper is lost in your indifference. I want you to understand that my voice is never absent. It is your listening that makes the difference. I may use a child, a stranger, a seemingly small event in your day to send you a message. Sometimes I let you stumble just slightly, so you'll slow down and look up. At times I close one door only to open another at the perfect moment. These are all my whispers, soft bells sounding within your soul. Yet too often you are so preoccupied with what you want that you miss what I want to say. My dear child, the reason I often speak in a whisper is because love does not coerce. I do not force, I do not wield power to make you obey. I long for a relationship that flows from your free will, from sincere love, not fear. If I were to speak only with awe-inspiring power, yes, you might listen, but your heart would tremble out of compulsion. But when I whisper and you choose to listen, that reveals a love that is true, a love willing to pause in the midst of life's demands just to seek my voice. Remember that I once appeared not in the earthquake nor in the fire, but in a gentle breeze. I wanted to teach you that power is not always shown in noise. Sometimes true strength is found in stillness. In the same way, my voice does not always boom, but it is always full of power. And if you listen, even one word from me can change your entire life. You have asked me many times to reveal my plan, yet you keep waiting for a grand sign, a miraculous, earth-shaking wonder. All the while, I have been sending you small signs every day, but you paid no attention. Like someone wandering through a desert crying out for water, yet ignoring each drop of morning dew, thinking only a stream could satisfy. My child, it is those very drops of dew that have kept you alive until you find the stream. Do not despise the small things, for I often use the small to test your faithfulness. I know you often ask yourself, how can I be sure this is God's voice and not just my own thoughts? The answer lies in continual communion. As you spend time seeking me, my voice will become familiar to you. Just like a shepherd whose sheep recognize his voice because they hear it every day, so too, when you learn to stay near me, you will come to know which voice is mine and which is not. The enemy may disguise himself with other whispers, but my voice always brings peace, always gives light, always leads you toward life. Any voice that sows fear or despair in your heart, that is not from me. My child, do not take the whisper lightly. Sometimes entire destinies are decided in a moment of responding to a gentle call. You only need to pause, open your heart, and listen. And once you begin to practice this, you will realize, I have never stopped speaking to you. It's just that you have never truly listened. My beloved, I want you to honestly look within and acknowledge this truth you have heard. My whisper many times, but you did not respond. Not because you didn't know, but because you were too caught up in 1,000 other things. Your heart has been pulled in many directions by conflicting priorities, work, money, personal dreams, the fear of being left behind. All these things crowd your mind until my heavenly call becomes the faintest sound within you. Ask yourself, how many times have you brushed aside my gentle reminders, thinking you still had plenty of time? You thought, I'll care about this when my career is more stable, when my family is more at peace, when life seems easier. But my child, that is the sweet deception. Because every day offers a new excuse to delay. If you don't stop and listen today, tomorrow will come with its own distractions. And so the years pass and you realize you've missed the very thing I most wanted to give you. You often believe that only great events are truly a calling from heaven. In times of crisis, you call upon me. Only when you are exhausted do you stop and begin to seek me. But on ordinary days, you let that gentle whisper drift away like a passing breeze. Yet, my child, it is precisely on those ordinary days that I continue to speak. If you only search for me in the storm, you will miss 1,000 opportunities to grow in the quiet moments. The soul does not mature through dramatic events, but through a steadfast response each day, through small details that the world often deems meaningless. Imagine a farmer. If he only sows seeds when there's a heavy downpour, the harvest will never be plentiful. But if he labors daily, planting each seed, carefully watering drop by drop, then come harvest season, his barns will overflow. Likewise, my words are like seeds sown into your heart each day. If you listen diligently and cherish each seed in time, your life will blossom with abundant fruit. But if you ignore them, your heart will become barren and empty. My beloved child, I do not blame you for being swept up in the rush of life, for I understand you are living in a world full of noise. But I am calling you to learn how to create silence, so your heart can become still and hear. I do not push, I do not force. My way in, I do not impose. I simply stand and knock. I am patient, but you must open the door. If you do not open, I will not break it down. True love never coerces. It waits for a response from the heart. Remember, some have missed out on me their whole lives, simply because they kept waiting for a grand sign. They longed for a dazzling miracle, a thunderous voice. But in the end, they heard nothing because they overlooked the quiet whispers where I truly reveal my love. They did not understand that the greatest miracle is not always the parting of seas, but sometimes just a timely word of comfort or a silent transformation within the soul. If you wait only for the extraordinary and neglect the ordinary, you will never truly draw close to me. My child, do not think that I am silent. My voice resounds every day, but only those who set their hearts to listen will perceive it. Like radio waves that always exist in the air, only the receiver tuned to the right frequency can pick up the signal. Your heart is the same. If it is always turned toward the world, it will only hear noise, but if it is tuned toward me, it will hear clear guidance. My beloved child, I call you to cultivate the habit of stopping. Learn to step away from the noise for a moment and seek stillness. It doesn't have to be a remote mountain or a grand temple. Even in your small room where you sit alone, I can still speak to you. What matters is not the place, but the posture of your heart. A heart that longs will always hear the calling, even if it comes as a gentle whisper. Beloved, I do not say these things to make you feel guilty, but to awaken you. Because I do not want you merely to exist in the noise, I want you to truly live in my presence. And to live that way, you must learn to discern my voice among the many others. Once you do, you will see how different your life becomes, clearer, more peaceful and steadier, even when storms rise around you. My dear one, I want you to grasp the immense difference between a life that ignores my whisper and a life that responds to it. If you continue on your path without regard, your heart will gradually dry up like land that's never watered. It will grow numb to spiritual things, and one day, even when I raise my voice loudly, you may no longer be sensitive enough to hear it. But if you train your spirit to recognize my small whispers, you will find that your entire life begins to shift. What once seemed random now becomes a clear sign. What once caused you anxiety now becomes an opportunity to walk by faith. Picture someone walking in the darkness holding only a small lamp. The light does not shine far ahead, but it is enough to illuminate the next step. Step by step they move forward, and the light continues to guide each pace. This is how my whispers work in your life. I do not hand you a complete map, but I lead you step by step, day by day. I do not reveal the entire picture, but I give you the peace you need in the present moment. And when you obey each small thing, you will slowly begin to see the larger picture come into view. Many people want to know every detail of the future before they dare to take a step, but I tell you this, it is trust in each small step that forms the foundation of true faith. If you only walk once, the whole path is revealed, that is no longer trust. But when you hear the gentle whisper, even if it is only the simplest guidance, and you obey, you are proving that you have truly placed your trust in me. And it is that very obedience that opens the door to miracles that no human eye could ever perceive. Remember, my child, I do not call you merely to escape danger, but to step into a life of abundance. My whispers are not always warnings. Sometimes they are simple words of comfort, I am with you. At times they are words of encouragement. Be strong, do not be afraid. And sometimes they are reminders. Forgive, love. Each whisper is like a seed planted in your soul. If you nurture it, it will grow into a tree of life, bearing sweet fruit, not only for you, but also for those around you. My child, ask yourself, how many times have you followed a whisper and witnessed astonishing results? Have there been moments when you felt urged to call someone only to discover they were in despair and in need of encouragement? Have there been times when you sensed a quiet voice telling you to pause, and because of that you avoided harm? These are proofs that when you listen and obey, I am guiding you in wondrous ways. If you choose to continue living this way, your life will become a journey of continual guidance, where nothing is random, but everything works together for your good. I do not promise that you will always understand everything immediately. Sometimes, my whisper will lead you into steps that seem unclear, just as Abraham was called to leave his homeland without knowing the destination. But I promise that every step of obedience will lead to a greater fulfillment. What you need is not full understanding, but confidence that I am faithful, and as you hold on to that faith, I will open doors that no one can shut, and I will bring you to shores you have never even dreamed of. My child, let your heart be trained in sensitivity. Make it a habit to seek me in the ordinary. Listen closely when you pray, when you walk down the street, when you're in conversation with others, because I can use any moment to speak. Once you learn this, you will live in a constant companionship with me, not only in moments of worship, but in every breath of your life. This is my goal, not a distant relationship, but an intimate closeness where you hear and respond to me each day. I am calling you today to make a decision. Do not ignore another whisper. Treat every prompting as a treasure. Respond as soon as you hear, even with a small act. And you will see over time that your life is not shaped by chance, but by divine guidance. My beloved child, I end this word with a firm assurance. You are not abandoned in the darkness. I have spoken, I am speaking, and I will continue to speak. I await your response, for your future depends on how you respond to these whispers. If you open your heart, you will find new life, true freedom, and a journey filled with wonder. But if you refuse, you will miss the opportunity heaven has specifically set apart for you. So choose to listen, choose to obey, and let my voice lead you to a place of peace and glory. My dear one, I have given you a special gift that no other created being possesses the freedom to choose. This gift gives dignity and worth to your soul. I could have made you like a machine that only obeys, but where then would love have meaning? True love only has value when it is given freely. And for your love toward me to matter, you must be able to choose whether to follow me or to turn away. That freedom makes every step you take weighty. It doesn't just affect your immediate comfort, but it opens the door to consequences that reach into eternity. Remember this, my child, every choice, no matter how small, sets a direction. Like a traveler standing at a fork in the road, a single step in the wrong direction can eventually take him far from his intended destination. In the same way, a decision that seems simple in the moment may lead you to unexpected outcomes in the future. Many believe that only big decisions truly matter, but I tell you it is the small repeated choices each day that shape the path of life. A word, an action, a seemingly harmless thought, they are all seeds sown, and the day will come when they bear fruit. My child, you can see that when you choose to respond to my whisper, even with just a small step, you open the door to new guidance. But when you ignore it, you are not simply standing still. In truth, you are choosing another path. I do not want you to think that I threaten you, but I must show you reality. Indecision itself is a decision. When you hesitate, when you delay, you unintentionally let the opportunity slip away, and the enemy always waits in those very moments of hesitation to slip in, to sow doubt within you, to pull you away from your purpose. Look back. How many times have you felt regret over a wrong choice? You wished you had spoken differently, acted differently, or been braver. But my dear one, I do not want you to live in regret. I want you to understand that today you can choose a new direction. The past cannot be changed, but the present is the pen with which you write the future. What matters is not what you chose yesterday, but what you will choose today. Understand this, every choice carries within it two sides. One brings you closer to life, the other leads you away, allowing darkness to take its place. There is no permanent gray zone, no safe middle ground. You cannot give me part of your heart while reserving another part for the world. I desire your whole heart, because only then will you truly be free. If you keep even one corner for the darkness, it will spread and consume all. Choice, therefore, is not something you can postpone indefinitely. Beloved child, let me give you an image. When a seed is planted in the soil, it begins its journey to sprout. If cared for, it will grow into a flourishing tree. If neglected, it will wither and die. Your choice is like sowing that seed. Each decision is a seed sown into the soil of your life, and when harvest comes, you will reap exactly the kind of seed you planted. If you sow with trust, with love, with obedience, you will reap peace, joy, and abundant life. But if you sow with doubt, selfishness, and fear, you will reap only bitterness and emptiness. Remember, no one else can choose on your behalf. Not your parents, not your friends, not your teachers, not your community. Only you have the power to decide the path of your soul. I can call, I can guide, I can open the door, but you are the one who must step through. I will never take away that freedom, because it is the very proof of the love I have for you. And my child, every time you choose me, all of heaven rejoices. For when a soul returns, it does not only change itself, but it also impacts many other souls. Each step you take in the right direction brings blessings not only upon you, but also upon your family, your generation, and the entire community around you. That is the power of a single choice. It never stops with one person, but always radiates outward. Therefore, my beloved child, I call you to be mindful of the weight of every choice. Do not take lightly the small decisions of daily life. Do not think they carry no consequence. Begin today, even with the things that seem ordinary. Choose to speak words of love instead of bitterness. Choose forgiveness instead of resentment. Choose prayer instead of worry. Choose trust instead of doubt. Each of these choices is a brick laid on the path that leads to life. My dear child, I want you to understand an unchanging truth. Everything in your life revolves around choice. From the moment you opened your eyes at birth to every step you take today, each moment stands as a crossroads where you must decide, and it is precisely those decisions that have been weaving the tapestry of your life. No choice is meaningless, for every decision, no matter how small, leaves its mark upon the soul. Just as each drop of water gathers to form a river, so every quiet decision today comes together to shape the path upon which you will walk tomorrow. My child, I gave you this freedom not so you would lead yourself to destruction, but so that the love you give me would carry true worth. Love has no meaning if it is forced. I could command the entire universe to move at my word, and cause every star to obey, but I chose instead to let your heart be free, for only in willingness is love pure. And this is why your choices bear such great weight. I long for you to choose life, yet I also allow you the freedom to turn away. And it is this very freedom that makes every decision of yours more precious than silver or gold. My child, remember this. A single wrong decision can cost you many years. There are those who, because of just one moment of poor judgment, must carry the consequences for a lifetime. Yet there are also those who, through one wise decision, opened the door for an entire generation to be saved. Your choices are never limited to yourself alone. They always create ripples that affect those around you. You may become a blessing to your family or the cause of its downfall, and it all begins with a choice. Many believe that only when faced with great decisions, such as career, marriage, or the future, must they weigh things carefully. But I tell you this, it is the small daily choices that matter even more. When you choose kindness in your actions, when you choose gentle words instead of harsh ones, when you choose prayer instead of complaint, these seemingly invisible acts are the very things that shape a strong soul. And when you one day face a great decision, your heart will already have been trained to naturally lean toward the light. Faithfulness in the small things is the very foundation that enables you to stand firm in the great. My child, I do not deny that making choices can sometimes be difficult. There are paths that appear dazzling, glittering, promising immediate comfort. Meanwhile, my path may be narrow, hard to walk, and traveled by few. But remember, the fleeting beauty of darkness is nothing more than a cleverly disguised trap. When you take that path, it will leave scars, chains, and regret. My path, though thorny at the beginning, leads to freedom, peace, and everlasting life. Ask yourself this: what are you choosing today? Are you allowing fear to dictate your decisions? Are you letting greed direct your steps? Or are you letting faith be your compass? Each answer reveals the direction of your soul. Do not deceive yourself into thinking that not choosing is safe, for not choosing is in itself a choice. If you do not choose to stand with the light, then by default you have already given ground to the darkness. My child, I want you to remember that every choice you make does not only shape the present, but also plants seeds for the future. Every word, every action, every thought you have today is a seed sown into the soil of your life. Tomorrow you will reap exactly the kind of seed you have planted. If you sow in love, in trust, and in compassion, you will reap peace and joy. But if you sow in bitterness, selfishness, and unbelief, you will reap loneliness, regret, and emptiness. The law of sowing and reaping shows no partiality. It operates as an unchanging principle that I established from the beginning of creation. My beloved child, I do not speak these things to frighten you, but to make you aware that you are not a victim of fate. You have been given the power to choose your direction. You can step into freedom and blessing if you choose to walk in the light. I know this is not easy, for you must resist the impulses of the flesh and the allure of the world. Yet I have also given you the strength to choose what is right, not by your own power, but through my presence within you. Therefore, my child, today I call you to pause and carefully consider every decision you make. Do not take the small things lightly. Do not think to yourself, it is fine just this once. For every just once becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. Choose me. Choose truth. Choose light. I promise you that when you choose me, you will never regret it. You will see the path open wider than you imagined. You will see blessings overflow beyond all that you could ask or even dream. My beloved child, to help you see the weight of a single choice, let me remind you of the stories you already know. When Adam and Eve stood in the Garden of Eden facing temptation, they had the freedom to obey or to disobey. A single decision that seemed so small, reaching out for a forbidden fruit, opened the door for sin to flood into humanity. From that very moment, the whole world bore the fracture, and generations after them continued to suffer its effects. One decision, made in a fleeting moment, carried consequences that stretched into eternity. This stands as proof that no choice is ever without consequence. On the other hand, consider Abraham when I called him out of his homeland. He did not know where he was going, he had no map in his hand, yet he chose to obey. That decision did not only change his own life, but it also opened the way for an entire nation, for an everlasting covenant. Through that obedience, blessings have been poured out upon countless generations. My child, this is the power of a right choice. It does not only bring life to you, but also to those yet unborn. In the same way, I call you to recognize that every decision you make is not confined to the present. It is like a stone falling into a lake, sending ripples outward. Your choices today can affect your family, your friends, and even those you will never meet. A kind word can rescue a soul from despair. An act of forgiveness can end a chain of bitterness passed down from generation to generation. But on the contrary, an act of indifference can bring further ruin to many. That is why I have declared, choose life so that you and your descendants may live. Deuteronomy 3:0-19. My child, there are those who think that their mistakes harm no one but themselves. They say, this is my life, I can do whatever I want. But the truth is never so. A selfish decision can shatter a family. An act of unbelief can rob the next generation of a guiding example to follow. You do not live in isolation. You live in a web of relationships, and every choice leaves its mark. That is why I continually urge you to choose the right path, because it is not only for your own good, but also for the good of many others. And my child, I want you to remember this as well. Not choosing is itself a choice. There are those who never decide, who simply drift with the current. But such passivity is itself a decision, allowing the darkness to decide in their place. The enemy is cunning. It does not always press you to oppose me openly. It only needs to make you lazy, indifferent thinking. There is no hurry, and in that it has already succeeded. For every moment you delay is a moment you lose the opportunity to step into true life. I know choosing the light sometimes requires you to pay a price. It may cost you an unhealthy relationship, the letting go of a habit that once seemed to bring pleasure, or the courage to stand against the expectations of the crowd. Yet I promise you, this whatever you surrender for my sake, I will return to you many times over with true blessings. Darkness always promises quick rewards, but it leaves behind an unfillable emptiness. Light may call you to walk a hard road, but in the end it brings lasting peace and complete joy. Think of Moses. He could have chosen to remain in the wealth of Egypt's palace, enjoying every royal privilege. But instead he chose to give it up and follow my calling to lead my people out of bondage. That decision cost him years of hardship, yet it brought freedom to millions. That is the power of a courageous choice. It transforms not only the individual, but also the course of history. My child, I want you to understand that no one is exempt from the principle of sowing and reaping. If you choose to walk in darkness, you will reap the consequences of darkness, anxiety, brokenness, regret. But if you choose the light, you will reap the fruits of the light, peace, hope, and life. You cannot sow weeds and expect to harvest wheat. Likewise, you cannot choose deceit and expect to receive peace. This law is fair for all. Beloved one, therefore I call you to be awake to every decision. Do not let ease blind your eyes. Do not choose the wide road simply because it is easy to walk. Remember, it is the narrow road that leads to life. Do not trade away eternal life for temporary comfort. Be courageous enough to choose what is right, even if it means going against the current. For when you choose what is right, you are never alone. I will walk with you, strengthen you, and ultimately lead you into glory. My beloved, I want you to realize that this moment is not a hypothetical exercise, nor a distant theory. It is reality knocking at the door of your heart. You are standing at a crossroads, and whether you are aware of it or not, you are making a choice. That choice will shape the direction of the rest of your life. I do not tell you this to make you afraid, but to make you aware. For if you think you can delay until another day, you are deceiving yourself. Every passing day is a closing door, and once an opportunity slips away, it does not always return. My child, I know you love the safety of the gray zone where you do not need to make a decisive choice. You want to hold on to faith while still grasping the pleasures of this world. But I tell you this, there is no neutrality in the spiritual battle. Either you stand with the light or you let darkness take its place. If you do not choose to move forward, you have already allowed yourself to drift backward. Hesitation is the very doorway through which the enemy enters, and once it gains a foothold, it will not stop until it claims your whole soul. Look at what is happening in your life. When you choose forgiveness, you feel light and free. But when you choose resentment, your heart grows heavy and loses its peace. When you choose honesty, you may lose a little immediate gain, but you keep the calm of your spirit. Yet when you choose deceit, you must live in fear of exposure. This is clear proof that every decision carries consequences. Light always brings freedom. Darkness always leaves chains behind. Understand this: darkness never gives anything for free. It promises joy but demands regret in return. It offers fleeting pleasure but robs you of lasting peace. It gives you momentary recognition but leaves an emptiness inside. Light, though it sometimes calls you to sacrifice, grants enduring fruit, true joy, unshakable peace, and eternal hope. Think carefully. Do you wish to live in illusion or in truth? I know you fear letting go. You think that if you release something, you will lose too much. But my child, whatever you dare to surrender for me becomes a seed planted in the field of blessing. You may lose a bit of temporary comfort, but you will reap enduring life. You may let go of a toxic relationship, but you will step into a fellowship that brings healing. You may release a selfish dream, but you will receive a vision far greater in return. Darkness takes away, but light always restores abundantly. My child, I want you to look ahead and envision what lies before you. If you choose me, you will not escape trials, but you will always have the strength to overcome them. You will not escape storms, but I will be your steadfast refuge. You will not escape tears, but they will become seeds of joy. And above all, you will step into a life that no power can ever steal away. But if you choose to turn away, you will have to fight alone. You will let darkness rule, and in the end it will lead you to ruin. Remember this: a right decision today may save you from years of regret, but a wrong decision could steal away precious years. The difference lies only in whether you dare to trust me. I do not ask you to know the whole future. I only ask you to take one step into the light. That very first step will open the way for the next ones, and with each step I will be there strengthening you. My beloved child, listen closely. I am not standing far away waiting to judge. I am here right now extending my hand to you. When you choose me, you are not merely choosing a path, you are choosing a companion. I will never let you walk alone. I will go with you through every valley, lead you across every mountain, and at last bring you to the destination. This choice is not simply between two lifestyles. It is between loneliness and companionship, between ruin and life. My dear one, I want you to know this: your existence has never been an accident. You did not appear in the stream of history by chance or by some random sequence of nature. Long before the first star was hung in the sky, I had already thought of you. When I shaped the form of the earth, your image was already in my heart. No one is exactly like you. No one carries the same calling as you, because the purpose I have placed in your life is utterly unique. If you do not step into it, no one else can take your place. You may think of yourself as small, but in my eyes you carry a worth so great that even the whole universe cannot compare. Let me tell you a truth: every person is born with a sacred imprint, a calling that only their soul can answer. Some are set apart to heal, some to guide, some to build, some to create. Yet all share one common purpose: to reflect my light and my love into the world. So it is with you, my child. I have given you abilities, experiences, even wounds, so that together they may form the perfect instruments for the purpose I prepared. Even your failures, when placed in my hands, can be woven into the fabric of your calling. My child, I see how often your heart wonders: does my life truly have meaning? Am I here only to be born to live and then to die like everyone else? My answer is no. Your life is meant to bear an impact beyond what you can imagine. Every word you speak, every action you choose can be a ray of light piercing someone else's darkness. You may think yourself unknown, unnoticed, but I see every small thing you do in love. And it is precisely those small things, when given to me, that become part of a great and eternal plan. My child, destiny is not a random road. It is the path I have drawn for you, a design woven from the very beginning. I have not left you to stumble in the darkness, hoping to find meaning by chance. Within your soul I have planted a stirring those deep desires, the hidden dreams, the joy you discover when doing certain things. All of these are signs pointing you toward your way. When you step into the place I have destined for you, you will feel a completeness that nothing else can replace. But my beloved, the enemy knows this well. It knows that once you step into your purpose, you will become a threat to the darkness. That is why it seeks every way to make you doubt your worth. It sows lies within you. You are nothing special. You will never succeed. You have made too many mistakes to still have a chance. And if you believe those lies, you will miss your destiny. It does not need to destroy you. It only needs to keep you from ever daring to step forward. That is why I must remind you today, do not let those lies define you. Only I have the authority to define you, and I call you a marvelous work. Remember, my child, even the wounds you carry are not meaningless. I can use those very cracks to let my light shine through. The tears you shed yesterday may become comfort for someone tomorrow. The scars you bear may stand as evidence of healing and power. Nothing in your life is wasted when placed in my hands. All things work together toward the purpose. Imagine this. When you live in your true purpose, every single day will be filled with meaning. You will wake not just to survive, but to fulfill a part of the great plan. Every task you do, whether great or small, carries significance because it connects to the greater picture I am weaving. You will see my presence in every step, and you will realize that not a single moment is wasted. And most importantly, your soul will find a satisfaction the world can never give. My child, many have lived their whole lives without ever stepping into their purpose. They have chased wealth, fame, and power, but in the end, when they look back, they see it all as dust. I do not want this for you. I want you to know starting today that you were created to live for something greater than yourself. You are called to make an impact, to leave a mark, to be a channel through which my light and love flow. So then, my beloved child, open your heart and receive this truth. You have a purpose. You are destined for a sacred calling, and I, the one who created you, will be faithful to lead you there, if you are willing. Begin with one small decision today. Believe that you are chosen. Believe that you are valuable. Believe that you are not an accident. From there, step by step, you will walk into the fullness of the journey. And as you do, you will see that every piece of your life, both joy and pain, will come together as part of a great masterpiece, testifying that you are living fully in the purpose I have given you. My beloved child, I want you to know that the journey into your divine purpose is not always an easy one. There is a reason why so many never reach what I have prepared, because there are barriers, invisible chains that bind them. The enemy of your soul understands well that if you step into your destiny, it will lose its power, and so it seeks every possible way to hinder you, to distract you, and to discourage you. The first thing it does is sow doubt. It whispers, "Were you truly chosen? What is so special about you? You have failed too many times. Surely you are no longer worthy." And if you allow these lies to take root, you will begin to undervalue yourself, believing that the divine purpose is something reserved for others. You will look at your weaknesses, your wounds, and your past failures, and conclude that you cannot be used. But my child, I declare to you this: it is precisely those very imperfections that become the testimony of my power. For when you are weak, my strength is made perfect. When you think you are unworthy, I call you chosen. Next, the enemy seeks to plant fear. It knows that the calling I have placed on you often requires you to step beyond the safety of your comfort zone. It fills your mind with imagined scenarios of failure, causing you to tremble and shrink back. You think, if I try, I will lose everything. If I step out, people will laugh at me. If I trust, I will be abandoned. And because of fear, you would rather settle for the safety of mediocrity than embrace the risky but glorious journey ahead. But my child, I declare, this faith is never nurtured in comfort but in courage. The courage to walk forward, even when you cannot see the whole path. It is in the very moment when you tremble but still choose to trust that you will experience true power. Another barrier is comparison. You look around and see others more gifted, more successful, more recognized. You ask yourself, why should I think I have a special purpose? Compared to them, I am nothing. But my child, I have not called you to be a copy of anyone else. I have called you to live out the unique essence I have placed within you. When you compare yourself, you lose joy and clarity of purpose. But when you focus on fulfilling the portion I have entrusted to you, you will discover meaning that no one else can replace. Just as every member of the body has its own function, and if one part refuses to act, the whole body becomes weaker. So too, if you do not walk in your purpose, the greater picture will be missing a vital piece. There is yet another thing that causes many to lose their destiny: meaningless busyness. The world knows how to entangle you in endless cycles, piles of work, relentless ambitions, and unyielding social pressures. You become so occupied that you no longer have time to listen, no longer have quiet moments to reflect. And so day after day passes as you keep telling yourself, tomorrow will be different, but tomorrow never comes. The enemy does not need to destroy you with fierce attacks. It only needs to keep you so busy that you no longer care for what truly matters. But my child, I remind you, nothing is more precious than the eternal calling. Once you set the wrong priorities, you will spend your time on fleeting things and forfeit the treasures of heaven. My child, etch this truth into your heart: those barriers do not hold the final authority. They are only strong when you believe in them. If you believe you are weak, you will live like the weak. If you believe you are unworthy, you will confine yourself. If you believe you do not have time, you will always delay. But if you believe in my words, if you choose to stand in truth, every chain will break. No doubt is stronger than my promise. No fear is greater than my love. No comparison can overshadow the worth I have placed within you. And no busyness can obscure your purpose once you decide to put me first. Remember, my child, your destiny is not some distant, vague notion. It is not reserved for a chosen few deemed special. Each person has a place in the grand design, and your part is no less important than any other. When you live aligned with your calling, you will experience a fullness that nothing else can replace. On the contrary, if you reject it, you will always feel an emptiness, no matter how much success you achieve. For your soul finds true satisfaction only when it lives in the purpose for which it was created. Therefore, my beloved, I urge you to stay awake to every obstacle. When doubt comes, answer with my promise. When fear rises, remember that I am with you. When you compare yourself to others, lift your eyes to me, the one who knows you and loves you. When busyness pulls you away, pause and place me as your priority. If you do so, nothing will stop you from stepping into your destiny. For in the end, it is not your strength that determines it, but my faithfulness. And I am always faithful to complete the work I began in you. My beloved child, I long for you to open your eyes and see the radiant vision of what it means to fully step into the destiny I have prepared. It is not some far-off dream or vague promise, but a reality waiting for you to embrace. When you courageously surrender your life and follow the divine plan, you will experience a wholeness that nothing else can provide. The emptiness that once tormented your soul will fade, for you will have found the exact place where you were created to stand. Like a missing piece finding its place in the grand mosaic, you will feel connected, complete, and whole. When you walk in purpose, you will no longer wrestle with the question, "What is the meaning of my life?" For every day you live carries eternal value. Every action you take, no matter how small, contributes to a greater plan. Even the most ordinary gestures, a word of love, an act of kindness, a word of encouragement, become seeds sown into the lives of others. And in time you will witness the fruits: smiles, restored hope, rekindled souls, redeemed. It is in these things that your purpose shines forth. Imagine a lighthouse standing in the midst of the night sea. It does not move, it does not shout, yet its light guides countless ships away from danger and safely toward the harbor. In the same way, when you live true to your calling, you become a lighthouse for those who are lost. They may never say thank you, they may never recognize your role, but the light shining from your life will save them from the darkness. And you, my child, will experience a joy deeper than any reward the world could ever give. But purpose is not only about outward influence, it is also about inner transformation. When you live according to my plan, your heart will overflow with peace. You will no longer strive to prove your worth, for you will know you are already loved and chosen. You will no longer chase after the approval of others, for you will know that my approval is enough. The anxieties that once consumed your mind will give way to the certainty that I am directing your every step. Your joy will no longer depend on circumstances, but will flow from my unchanging presence. My child, I want you to understand that purpose does not mean an easy path. At times it will lead you into greater trials because darkness resists those who carry the light. Yet even in those trials you will experience a wonder, my strength revealed in you. Every storm will not crush you, but make you stronger. Every tear will not weaken you, but water the seed of faith. And in the end you will see that nothing you endure is in vain. Everything is equipping you to fulfill your calling. Remember, this purpose is never just for yourself. It is always connected to the lives of others. I did not create you to live selfishly, seeking only your own satisfaction. I created you to be a blessing, to be an instrument of life. And when you live this way, you will discover a surpassing joy, the joy of knowing that your life carries eternal impact, that there are people who will give thanks to me because you were faithful to complete the work entrusted to you. My beloved child, your destiny is not limited by your background, your circumstances, or your current abilities. I chose ordinary fishermen to become apostles who shook the world. I used a young shepherd boy to defeat a giant and become a king. I turned common men into extraordinary witnesses, not because they were perfect, but because they were willing. In the same way, what I need from you is not exceptional talent, but a heart that is ready. When you offer yourself, I will take care of the rest. Therefore, my child, do not wait for some distant day when you feel strong enough, skilled enough, or ready enough. That day will never come. I am calling you to step forward today, just as you are, with your weaknesses, your wounds, and your fears. For it is precisely in your lack that I will reveal my fullness. It is in your imperfection that I will display the perfection of my plan. My child, now is the time to seize your destiny. Do not let doubt hold you back. Do not let the voices of the past restrain you. Do not let fear of the future cause you to hesitate. Step out in faith, and you will see that I have already gone before you, preparing everything. Believe that this destiny is not a burden, but a privilege. And as you move forward, you will discover that what I have promised is not mere words, but a living truth that will transform your entire life. My beloved, to enter into the purpose I have prepared for you, you need one essential thing: faith. Faith is not fanciful dreaming, nor is it a fragile hope that things might turn out better. Faith is a steadfast conviction in the truth. It is the decision to place your trust in me even when your eyes cannot yet see, your ears cannot yet hear, and your circumstances have not yet changed. Faith is the bridge that spans the distance between promise and fulfillment. Without faith, you will remain standing on this side, glimpsing the vision, but never entering into it. But when you walk by faith, the doors will open, and what I have promised will become reality. Remember that faith is not measured by emotions. There will be days when you feel exhilarated, strong, as though nothing could ever bring you down. But there will also be days when you are weary, when doubt fills your heart, when tears blur your vision. On those days, true faith is proven. For faith does not depend on moods, but on the certainty of who I am, the one who never changes. When you choose to believe, even when your emotions rebel, you show that your trust is truly in me, not in yourself. My child, think of Abraham. He was promised that he would become the father of many nations, even though age had worn him down and his wife's womb was barren. Everything in nature shouted that such a thing was impossible. Yet Abraham still believed, and that very faith was counted to him as righteousness. Faith does not make everything easy to understand, but it makes the impossible become possible. In the same way, my child, faith does not always allow you to fully grasp the path ahead, but it assures you that you are walking in the right direction and that I will fulfill what I have promised. Faith is a journey, not a single moment. Many people think that believing once is enough, but true faith demands that you walk each day. It is like stepping upon the waters, not a single step taken once, but a series of steps, one after another. Every step carries risk, yet each one is proof that you trust me more than the storm. Faith is a choice repeated again and again, choosing hope instead of despair, choosing trust instead of doubt, choosing to move forward instead of standing still. My child, I know that you often want to see the whole picture before you take a step. You think that if I showed you every detail, it would be easier for you to obey. But that is not how faith works. Faith requires you to take a step before you see the ground beneath it. If you had already seen the entire path, it would no longer be faith, but merely natural certainty. True faith is revealed when you dare to walk into the unknown, trusting that I have gone before you and prepared everything in advance. Remember, faith does not deny reality. Faith looks directly at reality, but at the same time believes in a higher reality. My promise, you may face sickness, but faith reminds you that I am the healer. You may face lack, but faith reminds you that I am the provider. You may face loneliness, but faith reminds you that I am the one who never leaves you. Faith is not about closing your eyes to hardship, but about opening them wide enough to see that I am greater than every hardship. My beloved child, when you live by faith, you step beyond the limits of yourself. Your strength may be small, your wisdom may be limited, but faith connects you to an infinite source of power. Faith transforms trembling hands into instruments of might. Faith turns silent prayers into echoes that shake heaven. Faith changes fearful steps into a glorious journey. For faith does not rest on you, it rests on me, the Almighty. My child, your faith carries another power, it can inspire others. When you dare to stand firm, those around you will notice. When you trust even in hardship, they will perceive that there must be a greater source of strength behind you. Your faith can become a flame that ignites faith within them. And so a single small decision of yours does not only change your own life, but also the lives of many others. Therefore, I urge you to begin walking in faith today. Do not wait until circumstances are favorable, because faith does not need perfect conditions to begin. Step forward right now with what you already have. Just one small step, a trusting prayer, a courageous act, a letting go of what does not belong to us, is enough to start the journey of faith. And I promise you, once you begin, I will walk with you, strengthen you, and lead you to the destination. My beloved child, I want you to understand that faith is never formed in comfort. It is forged in the fire of trials, in the long nights of tears, in the moments when you feel utterly alone. It is precisely in such circumstances that the true strength of faith is revealed. For if you only believe when everything is easy, when doors open effortlessly, when prayers are answered instantly, that is not yet faith. True faith is proven when you continue to trust, even though nothing seems to change, when prayers appear unanswered, and when you still walk through the dark valley. My child, remember the image of the goldsmith. Raw gold does not shine at the beginning. It must pass through fire to remove its impurities. In the same way, your faith must be tested to become pure. I do not bring you into trials to destroy you, but to strengthen you. I let you walk through seasons of scarcity so you may learn that the true source of provision is not in your hands, but in mine. I let you face silence so you may learn to discern my whisper among countless noises. I let you encounter delay so you may understand that my promise never fails. It only comes at the appointed time. There will be moments when your faith is shaken by waiting. You may think that I am slow, that I have forgotten you. But my child, remember, I never forget. Delay is not denial. I use time to train your soul to prepare you for something greater. For if I were to grant you immediately what you ask while your heart is not yet steadfast, that very gift could become a burden instead of a blessing. I love you too much to place into your hands something you are not yet ready to keep. So when you must wait, know that I am working behind the scenes, clearing the path, shaping you, and preparing you to stand firm when the blessing finally comes. My child, there will be days when the darkness whispers, your faith is useless. How long have you prayed, yet nothing has changed? How long have you waited, yet there is no sign at all? But it is in those very days that you must remind yourself that faith does not rest on what you see, but on the one in whom you believe. Recall the times I have rescued you in the past, the promises that have been fulfilled, the miracles that have taken place. Do not let those memories fade, for they are the proof that I am faithful, and I will remain faithful. My child, faith does not remove difficulties, but it transforms the way you face them. Instead of collapsing under the weight, faith helps you stand firm. Instead of staring at the wall blocking your path, faith sees the door that is opening. Instead of trembling before the storm, faith knows that I am resting within your boat, and that with a single word from me, the winds and waves must be still. Faith turns adversity into an opportunity for you to witness my power. Think of Daniel in the lion's den. Faith did not prevent him from being thrown into the pit, but faith kept him safe in the midst of the lions. Think of the 3 friends in the fiery furnace. Faith did not prevent them from being bound and cast into the flames, but faith kept them whole even without the smell of smoke upon them. My child, this means that faith does not always deliver you from the trial, but it will always keep you in the trial. And when you finally emerge, you yourself will be the living testimony that I am faithful. My child, I want you to know that every trial is a step on the ladder lifting you higher in your spiritual journey. If you treat it as a burden, you will collapse. But if you see it as an opportunity for your faith to grow, you will walk from strength to strength. Each time you stand firm, your roots sink deeper, and you become more resilient. One day you will look back and realize that it was precisely in those difficult seasons that you learned to trust me more, to love me more deeply, and to walk more closely with me. True faith is not only for being delivered, but for learning to cling to me regardless of circumstances. The miracle you long for may not have come yet, but what matters more is whether you will continue to trust me. The promise may not have been fulfilled yet, but will you remain faithful still? For in the end, the greatest reward of faith is not what you receive, but me whom you come to know, to hold fast, and to love more and more. Therefore, my child, when you pass through trials, do not think I have abandoned you. See them as the classroom of faith. Every tear is like a drop of rain that waters your soul. Every day of waiting is a step closer to maturity. Be patient, be steadfast, and believe that I am shaping you so that you may step into greater blessings. And when you have passed through, your faith will shine like pure gold, unshakable and enduring. My beloved child, I want you to imagine a life fully built upon the foundation of faith. It is not a journey without storms, but rather a life that no storm can overwhelm. A life of faith is like a house built on rock. The rains may fall, the winds may blow fiercely, the waters may rise high, yet the house will still stand firm because its foundation is secure. If you choose to build your life on faith in me, no trial will ever destroy your soul. On the contrary, if you build upon the sand of doubt, ambition, and fear, everything you have labored to construct will collapse when the storm arrives. My child, faith is not only the safeguard of your soul, but also a source of blessing to those around you. When you walk steadfastly in faith, your family will be blessed. Your children will see a resilient example and learn to trust in me. Your friends will find encouragement when they witness you standing firm in adversity. The community around you will recognize that a greater power is at work within you. In this way, faith never remains confined to one individual, it always radiates outward. It is like a flame passed from one candle to another, illuminating the entire room. Remember that the faith of those who came before has paved the way for many generations after them. If Abraham had not believed, an entire nation would not have been born. If Moses had not stepped forward, the people would not have been delivered. If the disciples had not stood firm, the gospel would not have spread across the earth. In the same way, your faith today can become a legacy for the generations to come. A faithful prayer of yours today may become the seed of transformation in your family. A small act of obedience may open the way for those yet unborn to enter into life. Never underestimate the power of faith, for its influence reaches far beyond what the eye can see. My beloved child, faith is also the key that will keep you steadfast to the very end. The world will always change, people will always change, but I am the one who never changes. When you place your trust in me, you are setting it upon the most unshakable foundation. Picture a great tree standing alone in an open field. The storms may cause it to sway, but because its roots sink deep into the earth, it cannot be uprooted. So it is with you. When your faith is rooted deeply in me, you may be tested, you may be shaken, but you will not fall. My child, faith is not an easy journey, but it is a worthy one. You may have to let go of certain things, but you will receive back many times more. You may have to walk in darkness for a season, but in the end you will behold a glorious light. You may be mocked by the world, but you will be honored in heaven. And above all, you will inherit the eternal reward, not only in this present world, but in the everlasting realm. Therefore I call you to hold firmly to your faith. Do not let go in days of hardship. Do not doubt when promises are yet to be fulfilled. Do not retreat when trials come upon you. Remember that I am the faithful one. The work I began in you I will surely bring to completion. Take each step forward, and you will see faith transform not only your own life, but also the lives of many others. My beloved child, engrave this truth upon your heart. Faith is the only path that leads you into the fullness I have prepared. It is the key that opens the door, the shield that protects, and the lamp that guides your way. If you hold fast to your faith, you will stand firm until the very end. And when you finish the journey, you will hear my voice say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master." That is the greatest reward, the final destination of the path of faith. My dear child, I want you to understand a profound truth when you choose to walk the way of faith. The first thing I do in your life is not to change your circumstances, but to change your inner being. For it is from within you that every decision, every feeling, every action arises. If the roots within you are not healed and renewed, then no matter how your outward circumstances shift, you will still feel empty. But once your heart is transformed, you will see everything with new eyes, you will walk with a new spirit, and your whole life will carry a new meaning. My child, I see clearly the hidden wounds within you, those things you conceal from the world, sometimes even burying so deeply that you yourself forget. I see the bitter words that once pierced your soul, the betrayals that left scars upon your spirit, the mistakes that led you to blame yourself. All these are like invisible chains binding you in the darkness of the past. You may smile before others, yet within you remain voids that nothing can fill. But my child, I have come to break those chains. I have not come to reopen your pain, but to heal it, to wash it clean, and to give you a new heart. Whoever is in Christ is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This is not an empty promise, but a sacred reality. When you hand over your past to me, I do not merely erase the stains, I transform them into marks of grace. The wounds you once carried become testimony of healing. The pain you once endured becomes comfort for others. The failures you once experienced become wisdom to lift up those who have fallen. I allow nothing in your life to go to waste. I use it all to shape the new being you are becoming. My child, inner transformation begins the moment you dare to face yourself. Many times you try to fill the emptiness with work, with success, with relationships, or with fleeting pleasures. Yet these only make you forget for a moment, not heal. For the root of the problem is not outside, but deep within the heart. Only when you open your heart to me, acknowledge your wounds and weaknesses, and allow me to enter, only then does the process of healing truly begin. And I promise you this, once you let me in, I will not only heal, but also recreate, giving you a new heart, a new spirit, and a new beginning. Beloved one, inner transformation does not happen overnight. It is a journey. Day by day, I peel away the layers you have built to protect yourself. Day by day, I replace bitterness with forgiveness, fear with peace, and despair with hope. You will notice change not through dazzling miracles, but through the quiet things. You sleep more soundly because worry no longer robs you. You laugh more genuinely because you no longer pretend. You love more freely because your heart has softened once again. These are the signs that I am at work within you. My child, I want you to understand that this inner transformation is the most crucial step in your journey of destiny. For if you are not healed within, even when you step through doors of opportunity, you will not be able to hold on to lasting blessing. The brokenness inside will eventually reveal itself outwardly. But if you allow me to recreate you from the very roots, you will become steadfast and unshakable. Blessings will not make you proud, trials will not crush you, for your soul will be firmly anchored in my love and my presence. Think of the seed. Before it grows into a tree, it must first be buried in the soil, endure the darkness, bear the pressure, and slowly begin to sprout. In the same way, inner transformation begins in the hidden darkness of private moments where only you and I dwell together. There I do a quiet yet powerful work, softening the soil of your heart, breaking the hard shell and bringing forth new life. In due time, that seed will push through, and the world will witness the change within you. My beloved child, I know you once thought you were too broken to ever change, but I say to you, there is no wound so deep that my love cannot reach it. There is no darkness so thick that my light cannot shine through. There is no past so heavy that my grace cannot erase it. I died so that you could live in freedom, and I rose again so that you might know transformation is real. All I ask of you is a heart that is willing. So then, my child, begin today. Let me enter the hidden chambers of your soul, those places you have never dared let anyone see. Allow me to place my hand upon old wounds, and you will experience a healing beyond understanding. Believe that inner transformation is not only possible but certain, for I have promised and I am faithful to fulfill it. When you allow me to transform you, you will become a living testimony that love can heal, that grace can restore, and that hope can rise again. My beloved, I want you to know that healing is not merely the wiping away of your tears, but the process of me renewing your entire soul. Many think healing means forgetting, or that the pain will simply vanish. Yet the healing I bring is far deeper. It does not merely end suffering. It transforms your pain into the very material of growth, the foundation upon which you can strengthen others. My child, this is transformation. From the ashes I cause you to rise as a new light. And child, when I heal you, I also teach you to see yourself with new eyes. Once you viewed yourself through the lens of failure, of sin, of the cruel words of others, you saw yourself as small, useless, unworthy of love. But when I touch you, you begin to see yourself through. My eyes, a marvelous creation, a beloved soul, one of infinite worth. Inner transformation always begins with how you perceive yourself. For when you believe who you are in me, you will no longer live as one defeated, but as one chosen. My child, this transformation also extends to how you see others. When your heart is still full of wounds, it is easy to react with bitterness, suspicion, or anger. But when you are healed, you begin to see people through the lens of grace. You understand that everyone carries hidden battles, everyone bears unseen scars, and instead of condemning you, learn compassion. Instead of despising, you learn to uplift. Instead of clinging to resentment, you learn to forgive. This is more than a change of attitude. It is the inevitable fruit of a heart made new. My child, pay attention. A person who carries within themselves true transformation does not have to strain in order to love, for love flows out naturally like water from a spring. They do not need to force themselves to forgive, for their heart has already been freed from the chains of bitterness. In the same way, when I work within you, love, peace, patience, kindness, and hope will naturally bear fruit in your life. These do not come from personal effort, but from my presence within you. My child, inner transformation also changes the way you see the whole world. Once you looked upon it as a dark place full of injustice where hope seemed fragile. But when my light ignites your soul, you begin to see the world through the lens of hope. You realize that even though the darkness may be thick, light still prevails. You begin to see opportunities to sow hope instead of only seeing difficulties. You begin to recognize the possibility of bringing change instead of only perceiving helplessness. And you, my child, become part of that very change, for the light within you is no longer hidden. I want you to understand that transformation is not a single instant, but a continuous journey. You may feel an immediate difference when you open your heart to me, but from that moment onward, I will continue refining, pruning, and shaping you. Just as the potter does not stop molding the clay until it becomes a perfect vessel, so I do not stop working within you. Each day, each trial, each experience is a tool I use to form you into a being that reflects my image. My child, there will be times when this transformation feels uncomfortable, for it requires you to let go of old habits, old ways of thinking, even relationships that are no longer healthy. You may feel as though I am taking away something important, but trust that I remove only what does not serve the eternal purpose in order to replace it with something far greater. Just as the gardener cuts off branches that bear no fruit, I prune you so that you may yield even more. Oh, my child, this transformation is not only for your sake, but so that you may become a living testimony for others. When they see you, someone once wounded, once fallen, once lost, now standing firm, loving, and filled with hope, they will know it is not your own strength, but my work, and through your life many will be drawn closer to me. My child, your inner transformation may well be the greatest miracle others will ever witness. So then, my beloved child, do not be afraid when you see me changing you from within. Do not be anxious when I touch the parts of you that you have long wished to hide. Believe that I do this not to harm you, but to heal and to renew. Allow me to continue this work, for when it is complete, you will become the version I intended from the very beginning, one who carries light, who carries love, and who carries hope into the world. My beloved, let me show you the full picture of life once the soul has been transformed. You will no longer live as before, where each day was only a monotonous cycle imprisoned by burdens and fears. Instead, each morning will become a new beginning, a chance to walk in freedom. You will feel your heart grow lighter, for the past will no longer chain you. The present will be filled with peace, and the future will open wide with hope. It is precisely this inner transformation that will teach you that true freedom does not come from having everything your way, but from surrendering everything into my hands. My child, inner transformation brings you a joy unlike the fleeting joys of the world. The world's joy is fragile, built upon circumstances, a success, a compliment, a reward. Yet these things pass away quickly, leaving behind an even deeper emptiness. The joy I give springs from my very presence within you. It is not shaken by failure, it does not disappear in adversity, nor does it fade with the passing of years. This joy remains steadfast even when tears fall, for it rests upon the certainty that you belong to me and I will never forsake you. Beloved one, when your inner being is transformed, love within you will flow naturally. You will find yourself loving more easily, not because others are always deserving, but because you have experienced unconditional love from me. You will learn to forgive quickly, not because the painful memories vanish, but because my grace has already covered the past. You will step out of toxic relationships, not in bitterness, but in peace, for you know that your true worth is not defined by the acceptance of others. You will live as one who is free, not defined by words, looks, or judgments of the world, but by the sacred identity I have given you. This inner transformation also leads you to recognize the true value of life. Once you lived in pursuit of what is fleeting: wealth, fame, recognition. But when your soul is renewed, you will see that all these are but shadows compared to the eternal treasure. You will begin to prioritize what holds everlasting worth: loving, serving, sowing hope, and walking in righteousness. You will invest in what the eyes cannot see, but heaven remembers. And as you do so, you will find your life filled with meaning, no longer lost in the endless whirl of what is passing away. My beloved child, inner transformation does not stop with you alone. It radiates outward like a sweet fragrance. Your family will notice the difference. Your words become gentler, your attitude softer, and the atmosphere at home more peaceful. Your friends will see the change and wonder about its source. Even those who once hurt you will be astonished to see you walking in forgiveness instead of bitterness. Your life becomes a living testimony that grace is real, that love truly holds the power to transform. My child, there is a moment I want you to imagine: the day you look back on your journey. You will see that the years once filled with brokenness have, through transformation, become a portrait of grace. Every wound will have turned into a testimony, every tear into a seed of hope, every mistake into a bridge of wisdom. You will clearly recognize that nothing was wasted, for I have used it all to bring forth something new. This inner transformation also brings you a new confidence, not an arrogance rooted in your own ability, but a courage that comes from knowing I am with you. You will walk no longer trembling, no longer bound by fear of failure, but with the assurance that every step is guided. You will dare to try what you once never dared to attempt, because you know that even if you fall, I will lift you up. This confidence does not depend on the outcome, but on my companionship. My child, I call you not to settle for a half-hearted transformation. Do not be content merely with escaping the shadows. Step fully into the light. Let renewal reach every part of your life, how you think, how you speak, how you act, how you love. Let your whole being reflect the transformation I have worked within you. And as you live this way, you will become a living witness to the power of grace, a light that shines for many others. Therefore, beloved child, open wide your arms to embrace this complete transformation. Do not fear the loss of self, for you will discover the true self I designed from the beginning. Do not hesitate to hand me every broken fragment, for I will shape them into a masterpiece. Walk with the faith that transformation is not just part of the journey, but the very core of it. And when you allow me to finish this work, you will stand as living proof that love is greater than every wound, grace stronger than every failure, and hope able to rise even from the ashes. My beloved child, when the transformation within you has begun, that is not the end. It is only the beginning of a new journey. For from the moment your soul is healed and renewed, I will lead you into a season of preparation. This season is not to bind you, nor to delay you, but to train you, to shape you, and to equip you with everything necessary to step into fulfillment. Do not mistake preparation for delay, for in truth it is the firm foundation for the greater things I am arranging. My child, look back through history, and you will see that every faithful servant had to endure a season of preparation before being sent forth. Joseph was destined to be a leader, yet he first had to endure years of being sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. Moses was called to deliver his people, yet he spent 40 years in the wilderness learning humility and patience. Even David, anointed as king while still young, had to live many years in caves, fleeing from his enemies, so that his soul could be refined. My child, this was not delay but preparation. And so it must be with your life as well, so that when you step through great doors, you will not be crushed by their weight. This preparation is seldom pleasant. It is like a warrior undergoing rigorous training before battle. At first, the warrior may feel confined, even forced, yet it is this very training that makes him strong, sharp, and enduring. In the same way, I allow you to face trials, to wait, and to walk through situations that teach you trust, patience, and steadfastness. For if you were to enter into blessing without preparation, that very blessing could become a burden instead of a joy. But once you are equipped, blessing will not only be sustained, it will flourish and bear abundant fruit. My child, in this season of preparation, I often draw you away from what is familiar. You may feel lonely, forgotten, as though others have left you behind. But in truth, this is when I am pulling you closer to myself, teaching you to rely on me instead of others. In the quiet, you will hear my voice more clearly. In the loneliness, you will experience my presence more deeply. This season is not meant to rob you, but to help you build an intimate relationship with me, a strong foundation for all that is to come. My child, preparation also includes learning how to manage the small things. If you are faithful with what is small, I will set you over greater things. Many desire to be entrusted with grand doors of opportunity, yet they despise the little matters of daily life. But it is faithfulness in the small things that reveals the true heart. Learn to love in your closest relationships. Practice patience in matters that seem ordinary. Be steadfast in the small responsibilities entrusted to you, for from that I will expand your influence. My child, the season of preparation is also the season when I teach you to let go. There are things you believe you cannot live without: a habit, a relationship, a form of control. Yet I know that if they follow you into the new season, they will only become a burden. That is why I call you to entrust them to me, to learn to let me be in control and to release what is unnecessary. At first it may cause you pain, but in the end you will see that I only take away in order to give you something far better. Look at the seed when it is sown into the soil. It must endure darkness, it must endure pressure, but within that darkness new life begins to form. If it refuses to be buried, it will never become a tree. In the same way, my child, the season of preparation is like the time when you are sown into the ground. It may not shine, no one may notice, and you may even feel forgotten. Yet in the unseen I am doing a great work, nurturing the seed, preparing it so that one day you will blossom and bear fruit. My beloved child, I know there will be moments when you wish to skip this season and step immediately into fulfillment. But I say to you, if you rush ahead, you will not have the strength to sustain what I give. Waiting does not take away from my promise, it only matures you to be able to receive it. Remember, every promise has its appointed season, and no season arrives before its time. Your part is to remain faithful in the season of preparation, and my part is to bring you into the season of fulfillment at the right time. My beloved child, I know that in your heart you have often cried out, "Why must I wait so long? Why has the promise not yet been fulfilled? Why do I still feel as though I am standing still while others move ahead?" My child, I want you to understand that waiting is never a waste. Waiting is a classroom where faith is refined, where patience is formed, where faithfulness is proven. If I allow you to walk through this season, it is not to cause you loss, but to make you strong, steadfast, and mature, ready to carry something far greater. Remember, even the strongest seeds need time hidden in the soil. They do not sprout the moment they are sown. They must remain still, endure pressure, and break open from within. In the same way, you cannot expect immediate fruit. I keep you in this season of waiting so that the roots of your faith may grow deep, so that your spirit may learn to rely on me instead of circumstances. If you step out too soon, your tree will be fragile, easily toppled by storms. But when you endure and remain patient, you will grow strong, and one day the fruit will be abundant. My child, in waiting, I teach you to discern what is essential from what is unnecessary. When the things you long for do not come immediately, you learn the value of simplicity, of gratitude for each small blessing. Waiting helps you release false expectations, selfish ambitions, and focus on what truly matters, my presence. When you realize that I myself am the greatest reward, you will no longer be so anxious about how long the time stretches. For it is in the waiting that you experience me more deeply, more intimately. Think of Joseph in the prison. He was promised that he would one day lead, yet instead he was forgotten in the shadows for many years. Perhaps he too wondered, were those dreams only illusions? But in the darkness of the dungeon, he learned faithfulness, he learned stewardship, he learned to trust me, even when circumstances contradicted the promise. And then at the appointed time, the door opened, and he walked straight from confinement into the palace. My child, that is the proof that waiting is never in vain. It prepares you for the moment of destiny. Waiting also teaches you patience with yourself. You often want to change at once, to mature at once, to see results at once. But true growth does not come through haste. It comes through perseverance, day by day. When you fail, you learn to rise again. When your steps are slow, you learn patience. When results seem absent, you learn to trust that I am still working. That patience will become enduring strength, enabling you to stand firm even through the fiercest trials yet to come. My child, in the season of waiting, you will be easily tempted by shortcuts. The enemy will whisper, "Why wait? Take hold of what you desire right now. It will paint easy paths, promising quick results." But remember this, my child, every shortcut carries a cost. It may bring momentary gain, but it will rob you of eternal blessing. Abraham and Sarah once grew impatient and sought a shortcut by relying on their own strength, and the result was trouble that lingered for generations. Yet when they learned the lesson of patience, the promised child came, and the word of promise was fulfilled in full. Therefore, do not let impatience cause you to lose the very best that I am preparing for you. Beloved child, waiting does not mean sitting idly by in stillness. It is a time for you to be equipped. Use this season to dig deep into my word, to pray, to discipline yourself, and to cultivate the skills and character you will need. Like a soldier training before battle, like an athlete strengthening before the contest, you must see this as a time of preparation. When you are faithful and diligent in this season, you will be ready when the appointed moment arrives. My child, I want you to know that I never waste a single season of your life. Even when you feel as though you are standing still, I am still at work. There are tasks I perform in silence, things unseen to you now, but in time you will recognize them. Like a builder laying brick by brick beneath the ground, I am constructing within you what no one else can see. And when the wall finally rises, all will be amazed, but you will know the foundation was laid long ago in the season of waiting. Therefore, beloved child, do not despise the season of waiting. Receive it as part of my loving plan. Be patient, be faithful, and allow me to train you. And when this season passes, you will emerge with steady feet, with a resolute heart, and with a soul fully prepared to step into the season of fulfillment. Waiting itself will stand as a witness that your faith was not in vain, and that I am the faithful one who keeps every promise. Beloved child, I want you to understand that preparation never lasts forever. Just as winter cannot hold back the spring, so your season of testing will end when the inner work is complete. I do not leave you wandering endlessly in the desert. I lead you through it to refine you, then bring you into the promised land. My child, trust that one day you will look back and see that every drop of sweat, every tear, every moment of waiting was not wasted. For through them you have become stronger, more steadfast, and ready for the new season. My child, how do you know when you are ready? It is not when every door opens automatically, nor when everything becomes easy, but when there is steadfastness within your heart. You are ready when waiting no longer discourages you, when trials no longer shake you, and when you have learned to trust me even in silence. That is the true sign of readiness. For genuine maturity does not come from favorable circumstances, but from a heart that has been firmly anchored in me. Once you reach that place, you will step into a new season, not with anxiety, but with unwavering faith. My child, preparation also changes how you perceive blessing. In the past, you may have thought that blessing was only comfort, success, and ease. But after a season of refining, you will come to understand that the greatest blessing is being near me, becoming a reflection of my light. As you enter your new season, you will no longer seek blessings to elevate yourself, but to serve, to spread love, and to build up other souls. That will be the evidence that preparation has completed its work. You no longer live for yourself, but for the greater purpose I have entrusted to you. Remember, my child, the years of preparation are not delays, but investments. Just as the bamboo tree must spend many years rooting deeply into the ground before rising tall in a single season, so it is with you. Your patience in hidden days will become your strength when you step into the light. Your quiet prayers will form the foundation for public miracles. Your faithfulness in small things will become the key to unlocking great doors. Everything you have endured, everything you have learned, will come together to equip you fully. My child, do not be surprised if the new season arrives suddenly. Joseph entered the palace in a single day after many years in prison. David, once hunted, rose to the throne in an instant when the time had come. I can turn circumstances around in a moment, yet I always spend years preparing your heart beforehand. That is why you must remain faithful each day, for you do not know the exact moment when your new season will arrive. And when it does, I want you to be ready, not bewildered, not hesitant, but walking forward with confidence. My beloved child, a new season is not only a reward for patience, but also a responsibility. The blessings I give are not merely for you to enjoy, but for you to become a source of blessing to many. I have not prepared you so that life may be easy, but so that you might bring glory to my name. This is why the season of preparation is so important. It teaches you how to steward blessing, how to stand firm in responsibility, and how to use what I give for the right purpose. Without preparation, blessing could become a burden, but with preparation, blessing becomes a river flowing through you to others. My child, when you step into the new season, you will discover that waiting has produced within you the most precious treasure, steadfastness. That steadfastness will keep you from arrogance in success, from despair in failure, and from wavering when circumstances change. You will become resilient, like an ancient tree unmoved by the storm. This is the quality I long to form in you through the season of preparation, for it will sustain you through the long journey ahead. Therefore, my beloved, I call you to remain faithful until the end of this season of preparation. Do not give up when results are not yet visible. Do not rush ahead when I have not spoken the time. Do not doubt when promises are not yet fulfilled. Be patient, be steadfast, and allow me to finish the work within you. For when the new season arrives, it will come swiftly and unexpectedly, and in that moment you will be ready. And my child, that day will surely come, the day when you step into fulfillment, carrying with you the heritage of faith, patience, and faithfulness to accomplish the purpose I have set for you. My beloved child, know this. No season of preparation lasts forever, for I am the God of completion. I do not lead you through trials so that you may remain there endlessly, but so that I may bring you into the season of fulfillment, the season when every promise I have spoken will become reality in your life. You have sown in tears, and now the time will come for you to reap with joy. You have endured the long night of darkness, but now a radiant dawn is breaking. I have seen your faithfulness in the hidden days, and now I will reward you openly. My child, the season of fulfillment is not only the time when dreams come true, but also when you step into the fullness of your divine purpose. It is entirely different from the season before, for in this new season, you no longer live just to wait, you live to walk, to carry out, and to experience in fullness. What you once only saw in your spirit as a shadow will now become an evident reality. The things you once prayed for in silence will now turn into public testimony. This is when you will realize that not a single tear was wasted, not a single prayer was in vain, not a single waiting season was meaningless, for all has been woven into this glorious tapestry. Take note, my child, when the season of fulfillment arrives, it often comes suddenly. Joseph needed only a single moment to step out of the prison and into the palace. David needed only a single day to move from being a fugitive to becoming king. I can change circumstances in the blink of an eye, for I am the one who holds time in my hands. Yet long before that moment comes, I have been preparing your heart for years. Therefore, when the season of fulfillment opens, you will not enter it in confusion, but in readiness. You will not be crushed under the weight of blessing, but will stand firm to steward and distribute it according to my will. My child, the greatest difference in this season of fulfillment is the reality of fullness. In the past, you may have felt lacking, always waiting for something to fill the emptiness within. But in this new season, your soul will be satisfied. You will no longer strive to seek your worth, for you will know with certainty who you are in me. You will no longer wander searching for purpose, for you will be living in the very thing I created you to accomplish. This fullness does not come from what you possess, but from being in the right place, doing the right thing, and living rightly within my eternal plan. My beloved child, I also want you to understand that the season of fulfillment does not mean the absence of trials. Challenges will still come, but they will no longer cause you to fall, for you have been prepared. If in the former season trials came to teach you patience, then in this season they will come to teach you how to steward blessing. If in the past you had to learn how to cling to me when nothing was visible, then in this season you must learn how to guard your heart when much has been given. The season of fulfillment is not only a season of abundance, but also a season of responsibility. Yet, my child, you will see that it is precisely the preparation that has made you strong enough to stand firm in this season. Remember, my child, the fullness I bestow upon you is not merely for your own enjoyment, but so that you may become a source of blessing to many. The blessing is not meant to stop with you, but to flow through you like a river that refreshes parched fields. What I place in your hands is not simply to fill your pockets, but to fulfill an eternal purpose, redemption, healing, uplifting, encouragement, and bringing light to the world. When you understand this, you will no longer ask, "What do I receive?" but rather, "To whom may I give?" and it is in the giving that you will discover complete joy. My child, you have longed to see the day when all things will become clear, and I say to you, that day will come. It will be the day when you realize that every trial was only a stepping stone bringing you closer to me. It will be the day when you see that every seeming obstacle was in fact a tool I used to open the way. It will be the day when you perceive that the whole journey from tears to joy, from sorrow to healing, from waiting to fulfillment, was arranged by my wisdom and love. And in that moment your soul will cry out, "Indeed, all things work together for good for those who love him," Romans 8:28. Beloved child, when you step into the season of fulfillment, the first thing you will notice is a peace covering your soul. In the past, you lived many days in restlessness, uncertain of which direction to take, unsure if you had enough strength, unclear as to when the promise would come to pass. But in the new season, you will experience a wondrous stillness within, for you will know that you are standing in the very place I have appointed. This peace is not the temporary calm that comes from favorable circumstances, but a deep and abiding peace that surpasses all understanding, born from the certainty that you have entered the very center of my will. You will also begin to notice a change in the way you view life. In the past, your eyes often fell upon what was lacking on dreams, yet unfulfilled on things not yet in hand. But in the season of fulfillment, you will begin to see abundance. You will find reasons for gratitude even in the smallest things. You will see my hand in every detail, from the breath you draw to the unexpected opportunities that knock at your door. You will realize that fullness does not mean possessing everything you once desired, but knowing that in me you already have enough, and so you will walk not in anxiety but in thanksgiving. My child, the season of fulfillment is also the season in which you will experience clarity of purpose. What once seemed clouded, the questions left unanswered, will now gradually be revealed. You will come to understand why you had to pass through valleys, why certain prayers were delayed, why some doors were closed. All of it served to prepare you so that you might stand firm today. And now as you look back, you will see that I was never late, never mistaken. Everything arrived at its appointed time, and this clarity will strengthen your faith more than ever before. But my child, along with blessing also comes responsibility. The season of fulfillment is not a time to retreat inward and enjoy it for yourself alone, but a time for you to become a channel through which blessing flows. I give to you not merely to fill your own storehouse, but so that you may share, so that you may sow, so that you may bring light into places still covered in darkness. My child, every blessing I bestow carries a purpose. If you keep it only for yourself, it will eventually dry up, but if you allow it to flow through your life, it will become a river that never ceases to pour out. Remember this, my child, in the season of fulfillment, trials do not disappear. They only take a different form. If in the season of waiting you were tested in patience, then in the season of abundance you will be tested in stewardship. If in the season of lack you were tested in trust, then in the season of plenty you will be tested in faithfulness with what has been given. There are those who, when entrusted with much, forget their source, allowing blessing to become chains instead of freedom. My child, I do not want you to repeat that mistake. Hold fast to this truth. Everything you have comes from my hand, and use it rightly to honor me and to bring benefit to many. Look back at the people of Israel. When they were delivered from Egypt and entered the promised land, they did not only receive the abundance of the land, but they were also entrusted with the responsibility to live righteously, to become a light to the nations. Yet when they forgot this and pursued other gods, their blessing became a burden, and they lost their purpose. In the same way, my child, I remind you that blessing is not only a privilege, but also a responsibility. Use this season of fulfillment to sow seeds of love, of hope, and of righteousness. My beloved child, true abundance does not come from holding tightly, but from giving freely. When you share what you have, your time, your love, your talents, your resources, you will experience a joy far deeper than before, for you were created to be a channel, not a reservoir. You will discover that in giving you do not lose. Instead, you multiply. A river remains pure only as it continues to flow. Likewise, your life will only find true fullness as you allow the blessings to flow through you. My child, I want you to know that the season of fulfillment is not the final destination, but rather a new stage of the journey. It ushers in greater responsibilities, greater opportunities, and also greater challenges. But my child, do not be afraid, for I have prepared you. Everything you have learned in the season of waiting, everything I have refined in you during the season of preparation will now become your precious foundation. You will walk forward with confidence, with wisdom, and with a humble heart. Therefore, my beloved child, embrace the season of fulfillment not only with joy but with alertness. Delight in the blessings, but do not forget the purpose. Live in fullness, but do not let that fullness cause you to close yourself off. Remember that you are blessed in order to be a blessing. And as you do this, your life will become a living testimony that I am the one who keeps every promise, the one who provides abundantly, and the one who works all things together for the good of those who love me. My beloved child, I want you to look back on the entire journey I have led you through. From the very first moment I whispered your name when you were still lost in the shadows, I patiently waited for you to listen. I reminded you of the unseen battles beyond the reach of human eyes. I warned you of the temptations that could lead you astray. Then I guided you through the journey of inner transformation, where I touched your hidden wounds, healed them, restored you, and made you new. After that, I led you into the season of preparation, where patience, faithfulness, and waiting became the school that trained your soul. And now, my child, you are standing in the season of fulfillment, where promises become reality, where you walk in both fullness and responsibility. My child, remember that none of this has happened by chance. It is part of a plan that was set in place before you were formed in your mother's womb. Every season, every step, every tear, and every smile have all been written into my loving design. You have never been alone, not a single moment has been wasted. Even when you thought you were lost, I was there, quietly arranging, quietly protecting, quietly guiding you back on course. And now as you look back, you will see that everything, whether good or bad, has worked together to bring you to this very day. My child, the season of fulfillment is not the end, but only a comma in the eternal journey. For there are still many things I long to do through you, many souls that need to be touched, many doors waiting to be opened, many miracles yet to be revealed. The blessing you receive today is not for you to keep to yourself, but for you to become a vessel. I want you to walk in freedom, in authority, in power, and in love, so that the world may see my light through you. You are a witness of grace, living proof of transforming power, a lamp set upon a hill to shine for all people. My beloved, remember, this true fullness is not found in what you possess, but in living wholly within my will. When you live according to purpose, you will discover a joy that money cannot buy, a peace the world cannot offer, and a hope no circumstance can extinguish. And you will realize that the most precious treasure you hold is not the outward blessings, but the intimate fellowship with me. For if you have me, you have everything. If you lack me, you have nothing. Stand firm, my dear child, for even in the season of fulfillment there will still be new trials, different winds, and other deceptions trying to draw you away. But now you are prepared. Your roots have gone deep, your faith has been refined, your soul has been transformed. No power can bring you down if you remain faithful. Remember that I am the faithful one. The one who brought you through the desert will surely keep you in green pastures. Do not fear, do not retreat, but step forward with the confidence that I am with you until the very end. And my child, share your journey. Tell others that there is a God who raised you from ashes, who healed your wounds, who gave you a new beginning. Show them that hope is real, that love is real, that blessing is real. Live as a living letter so that anyone who looks at your life may come to know me. For through your testimony, many others will find the light and enter into their own season of fulfillment. My beloved child, this is the time for you to lift up your head. This is the time for you to walk in confidence, no longer bound by the past, no longer hindered by fear, no longer held back by doubt. This is the time for you to live fully in the identity I have destined for you. Walk as one who has been chosen, live as one who has been sent, and shine like a lamp in the darkness. And above all, remain faithful until the end, for your reward is not only in this life, but also in eternity, where you will hear my voice saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master." My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen to my voice. In this moment I call you not to let your heart be carried away by the noise of the world, for there is a spiritual battle taking place that your earthly eyes cannot see. If you do not come to me in prayer, you will easily lose your way, defeated by temptations and worries. But if you come before me in sincere prayer, you will be covered by my strength, you will find peace in the midst of storms, and you will be led onto the path of divine purpose. Do not delay, my child. Do not wait until hardships press you down to bow your knees before me. Even now I am calling you to open your mouth, to humble your heart, to surrender all things. Your prayer will open the door for my power to be poured out. When you pray, I will listen. When you cry out, I will answer. And when you seek me with all your heart, you will surely find me. My Lord, I come before you in trembling and humility. I confess that many times I have ignored your calling, that I have chased after fleeting things and allowed the noise of the world to drown out your gentle whisper. Please forgive me. Help me return and place you at the center. Open the eyes of my spirit so that I may see the unseen, that I may no longer be deceived but stand firm in your light. Keep me from the enticements of wealth, fame, and fear, that my heart may rest secure in your eternal truth. Beloved Father, I lay before you the burdens I have carried for far too long. All the pain of the past, the countless failures, the moments of weakness and collapse, I now place them at your feet. Wash me clean with your grace, erase my sins, and free me from the chains of fear. Grant me true freedom, the joy that is found in Christ, and the peace that surpasses all understanding. Do not let me return to the shadows, but lead me in the light, that I may live as one who has been forgiven and renewed. Almighty Lord, today I surrender my own plans, the dreams and desires I have clung to for so long. I acknowledge that your will is higher, and I long to live under your guidance. Shape me, use me as an instrument in your hands. Though the road ahead may seem uncertain, I choose to believe that you will make my path straight. Give me the courage to walk each day in obedience, even if the steps are small. Teach me to trust even when I do not understand, for I know you are faithful and will never forsake me. Lord, when I am weak, be my strength. When I lose my way, be my guide. When I am lonely, be my comfort. I need your presence in every breath I take. Fill me with your Spirit so that I no longer live by my own will, but under your leading. Teach me to hear your voice amid the noise and confusion, that I may recognize your hand at work behind all things. Grant me unshakable faith so I may stand firm through every storm while holding fast to your unchanging love. All-powerful God, teach me to live watchfully, that I may not fall asleep in the illusions of this world. Give me a courageous heart, that I may not fear when walking through the fires of trial. Open my spiritual eyes to see that you are with me in every step. Strengthen me to hold firmly to my faith, even when the world stands against me, even when trials surround me. I believe that with you all things are possible. I choose to stand firm, to cling to your promises, and to trust that you will lead me into the glory you have already prepared. Gracious Father, I bow in gratitude, for you have never abandoned me. Even when I wandered far, when I ignored your call, you waited patiently. You continued to whisper, to stir my heart, to draw me back. I give thanks for that unfailing love broader than the seas, higher than the mountains, and deeper than human understanding. I know that through this very love, I am redeemed, forgiven, and called your child. O Lord of grace, I am grateful to you, for you have cleansed me, washed away my sins, and clothed me in the new garment of righteousness. You have transformed me from one who was lost into a beloved child of the Father. I thank you because each day is a new opportunity for me to begin again, to walk in the light, and to live in the purpose you have given. I give thanks for your faithful hand that has sheltered me, guided me, and provided for me, so that I am never alone on this journey. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so that together we may build a strong community of faith.